Hey, what's up, everybody? It is, wow, I'm only half a screen, but it's full Friday, May 16th, and this is the Ghost Files Live. I'm Vincent DiSanti. I'd like to welcome you to the Womp Stomp Films YouTube channel. If you haven't already, like this video, subscribe to this channel, and you will get all the exclusive updates for everything related to Never Hike Alone, Friday the 13th, and everything else we have going on here at Womp Stomp Films. The chat, look, the whole thing is flying tonight. We got over 35 people hanging out. We got a lot of people in the chat. I just clicked in. It said 31 comments. I don't know how I'm going to keep up with that, but tonight we have a lot to talk about. Just when I think, man, what am I going to do for this week's Ghost Files? What am I going to talk about? What am I going to dive into? What can I cover? Am I finally going to do my Freebirds episode? And then what happens in the middle of the week? We get a bombshell update from the Jason universe. With not just a logo this time, but with a full-fledged reveal of their brand new Jason Voorhees. I obviously have some opinions on it. There's obviously, by the name of this episode tonight, there may be some inspiration from our world into that thing. We'll dive into a little bit, but before we get there, I do want to jump into some quick announcements, some just reminders of everything that's going on. And then after that, we'll get into the chat. We'll see who's hanging out with us tonight, and we'll go from there. So just really quickly, let's jump in. Let's get our media assets, bing, turned on correctly. I'm going back to my, no, that's a little too far. I think I can do a little bit more than that. I think, oh, there we go. That's nice. First thing up, just a reminder, in a couple of weeks, Never Hike Alone will be playing at the Yingling Mansion for Pottsville Film Festival. Good friend of mine, David Joseph, DJ, invited me out there for that, so I will be attending that. Now, I do have to change this slide. I've been working like crazy today. I didn't change it, but the screening is not Friday. It is Saturday. So Saturday, June 1st, is the screening for Never Hike Alone 2, same time, same location. I am hoping to be there in attendance. That is the plan. I'm going to drive out there. Should be a fun thing. It's only, Pennsylvania is only a 6-hour drive. I think I can do that. Flagstaff was 7. I used to drive out there all the time. So if you're in the, I believe, northwest corner of Pennsylvania, south corner of New York, Ohio, maybe some Indiana folks out there, if you want to come out and visit, definitely a good time to come and say hey, say hello. I would love to see some local Womp Stomp supporters. Anyone who supported the film, come out and let's see it on the big screen. That would be a good one. Another screening coming up, which is actually on Friday the 13th, June 13th, Jason's birthday, in next month in Germany, in Wolfsburg at Horror Night. The Horror Night Festival at the Dolphin Theater is going to be doing a huge, massive marathon of films. There's going to be Terrifier, Demons, The Hills Have Eyes, Never Hike Alone 2, and that's just Friday. Saturday, they have Barbarian, Wrong Turn, and a bunch of other great hits from over the years that are going to be a lot of fun. So if you are in Wolfsburg, Germany, or happen to catch this over on that side of the globe, check out Never Hike Alone 2 that weekend. Coming up July, Saturday, the 26th, and Sunday, the 27th, another Monster Expo. No E, just XPO. Trust me. You can see it there in the name, but Monster Expo is going to have Friday the 13th legend Kane Hodder, Nightmare on Elm Street, Pet Sematary, Kindergarten Cop legend Miko Hughes from Dylan's New Nightmare, Brett Wagner, Leatherface, Mark Price, and Brad Lorry is going to be there too. I remembered this week. Brad Lorry from Halloween, I believe Resurrection, is going to be there. So come on up to Nashua, New Hampshire. I will be there. I will have a booth. Womp Stomp Films will be in full representation. Definitely want to see all my New England folks out there. As a reminder, we got a crowdfund going on right now. I know Juan Rivera is in the chat from Mako Animation, but if you have not already, scan this QR code, go to the Ghost in the Fog Indiegogo, which is on Indiegogo right now. We are at, I believe, 15%. I think $7,690 has been raised. Over 57 people have backed the campaign in just a couple of days. Not bad for a first week on a campaign that's an extension of another one. We're about 15%. That's pretty decent for the first run, but we want to see a lot more people. If you are a Kickstarter backer, or you are an Indiegogo backer from Never Hike Alone 2, email me at, where are my banners at? Bam, right there. Email me at wompstompfilms.com. I'm not going to post the discounts for everyone to see. It's just for you. I can look you up. You're in our system. If you back these two campaigns, you are eligible for discounts. You can get a discount on the Never Hike alone. Boom. Box set looks like this, baby. See that box? If you have all the films, you don't have to buy them all again. You don't have to spend $150 to get 5 discs printed for you. You already got all 5. Maybe you got the final cut in the last campaign. Well, the box is $30 for everybody else. For you, you get a $5 discount if you email me at wompstompfilms@gmail.com. We can hook you up there. If you do want all 5 brand new discs, which are all brand new exports, these are all brand new discs, brand new pressing, brand new vendor. These aren't the same disc being pressed again with new art. This is a brand new menu. There's going to be different bonus features, all that stuff. If you've purchased these films before and you email me, you can get a huge discount on the full box set, but you got to email me at wompstompfilms@gmail.com. I will send you, it's a generic email. It has 2 links to 2 different secret perks. And if you want to build any other type of secret perk, if you want to be a producer, if you want to be involved in some way, shape, or form, you email me here, you tell me your list of demands, and I will help you get what you want for a reasonable price. You know, we reward backers for coming back. We reward new people for showing up and bundling and becoming big parts of this process. We've already got 2 characters so far that have been picked up. Hang on, let me get this banner off real quick. We've already had 2 characters that have been picked up. Lana, who's our main character, who's played by Chelsea Rebecca from the Dead Meat channel. We also have Zoran Gavoyich, which I said wrong on the other video, but I'm getting it right now. He's playing Brandon, which is another Brandon Covington, who is another executive producer. Dominic, played by Diego Valenzuela and also a co-writer on the project. His character is still up for grabs. You're still going to have Dom voice your character. You're going to be big and burly. We might even make you big and burly still, but we can make the character look like you if you become an executive producer. We have new commentary tracks that you can do. We have missing persons photos. We have all that and more for our producers if you want to check that out. So if you got any questions, wompstompfilms@gmail.com, all that fun stuff. So before we get into our next bit and all the fun stuff, let's jump into the comments. Let's see who's here. A lot of people are here. We got Lamontre. He's in the house. What's up, Lamontre? Joe, you're in the house. Gregory Dock and Rocker Peck is in the house. He's going to be a backer. There's Juan Rivera. He's my co-director for Ghost in the Fog, and he's also the owner-operator of Mako Animation. Resolute Blood is in the chat. What's up? What's up, Eric? Shot by Shot is here. Alley Ghost is here. Who else? You guys are just going back and forth. Cheesy Corn Pop is here. Big Smells. That's a name. Tyler, what's up, man? Oh, there he goes. Yep, I was actually playing that. If you watched if you got my stuff off Instagram, we actually use that as the theme song. So we got that. Necro Jim's already getting the new Jason design sucks. We'll get into that in a minute. Mitch the Ripper is here. Spiritually inclined. With brother, let me see. The Never Hike Alone design is much better than the new design. The new one looks like a knockoff NHA design. We'll get into that in a minute. We got Ben Brown. Oh crap! I'll be out that way, but a week and a half too late. It must mean you're coming to those things. Let's see. James Sweet's in the house. Look at this guy, James Sweet. Oh yeah. Before I forget, I brought this up because if you missed out, the first kill sneak preview, the first 5-ish minutes of Ghost in the Fog is available on the YouTube channel right now. You can watch the first kill in storyboard animatic form to get an idea of what we're trying to accomplish in animation. Actually, I got something to say to Tyler in a second, but so definitely check that out. And what was I saying? And then James and I are going to be jumping on the Jason Nike's podcast after this. Look for a link. Maybe I'll throw it in the chat or something. But we're going to be jumping on with him, talking part 6. Going to be talking Predator Badlands. Probably going to be talking about this Jason stuff too. We'll get into that in a minute. And then there it is. And then Tyler's talking about Foreigner Rips. Foreigner is my go-to for karaoke. I always do Cold as Ice. So that's my thing. Flavor Voorhees, I'm here. My first time watching your stream. Welcome, Flavor Voorhees. Good to have you coming up. As a reminder, everybody, usually we do, if you want to ask a question and you want it to get right to the top, we obviously have super chats activated. And you can ask that super chat. It will come right through. It helps support the channel. It really helps us, be able to just keep doing what we're doing. We're saving up for brand new projects. We talked about No Problemo. Casey, Dwayne Alexander, if you are in this chat, I owe you a conversation, but obviously we got kind of derailed with this Jason universe stuff in the last couple of days. Jason Tompkins in the chat. Dominic Sinclair's in the chat. Welcome back, guys. Welcome back. Look at this. Vincente DiSanti, bro. Mateo, I love it. Vicente. That's exact. I mean, that's pretty close. Oh, Batman versus Zilla. Look at these. Look at everybody in the chat tonight. Look at Thickless. That's nice. Nice. I love that. Where was I? Oh yeah, so super chats, we got those. But really, if you guys can support the Ghost in the Fog campaign, that would mean a lot. That to me, Juan, everybody at Mako, Ruby, Cinescare Productions, everyone who's involved. Obviously, Dead Meat is helping us out in some capacity with lending us their voices, and Zoran and Chelsea were kind enough to spread the word on Twitter today. So thank you guys. I really do appreciate that. Also, shout out to Mike from We Watch a Movie. He had a beautiful rant on the Jason Voorhees universe yesterday. He shouted out Never Hike Alone, gave us some credit and due. So without further ado, the reason why we're all here, all 50 people, let's talk about something, right? Where is he? Where's the man of the hour? Bing bong. There he is. So, like I said at the top of the show, the Jason universe went and just dropped a bomb on everybody. I mean, there's a lot of confusion, I think, with people as far as like what this update was and kind of like what it showed. You know, if you guys want to get a little bit of a closer look at this guy, I can get into smaller mode, bing bong, and then we can get right there. Look at this guy. This is our brand new Jason from the Jason universe. The mask right here is something that we have seen for a while. In fact, I was going through old thumbnails and I found that old the announcement of the Jason universe when I first saw this mask, when we all first saw this mask, and we all just yucked into our mouth and we're like, not great. Looks like AI built, doesn't look like the shape that we love. And we've been saying that for a year. And so last week, I think even on this show, I said, we don't know what this mask is going to be, if this is just an icon, or if they're going to do something different for the shows, if they're going to do something different for the movies. I don't see how this fits on a person's face. And oh my boy, they must have been listening, because they showed us how it fits on a face this week. And the overall reaction from the Friday the 13th world, without any hyperbole, was not that great. I think I saw a statistic that was basically like 80 to 85% of fans who responded to this material online did so negatively. And there was also just one other kind of little thing about it, was the bottom half of this guy. Here, I can get a little bigger again. The bottom half of this guy really does look like a character that I know. And to go smaller once again, boom. So, this was really interesting for me because I spent a lot of time, and anyone who has watched this podcast before, there's another episode many months back where I broke down the entire Ghost Jason look. I have brought some props with me tonight. We're going to look at them again, or I'm going to show you some stuff of what's kind of going on. But let's talk about the neck down first. From the neck down, Greg Nicotero, who is the owner and operator of K&B Effects, a wonderful dude. He's done a lot of great things for a lot of people that I know. We've employed some, like Mikey Rotz, who did the stuff for Dylan's New Nightmare, works at K&B. A producer of Never Hike Alone, Kurt Root, is good friends with Greg Nicotero. I got to tour K&B before the start of Never Hike Alone 2. I met the artist who created the 2017 Jason for the film for Breck Eisner that got canceled the year that Never Hike Alone came out. So I saw the actual designs that were never released. And so I sat down and I talked to the designers. I talked to people in the building. I showed them pictures of Ghost Jason. I know I've sent them pictures of Ghost Jason. I cannot tell you whether or not for certain that it directly influenced this look, but there's either one of two things. Either Greg did see the design and said, you know what? That works. I'm going to incorporate it and use some of the aesthetic that we sort of established with the Never Hike Alone world. And that would be amazing. Or Greg and I came to the same conclusion just years apart. Me doing it many years ago when I was trying to build, Womp Stomp Films and Never Hike Alone, and him this year when, when the Jason universe approached him and asked him to kind of work the neck down. From what I understand, the mask was delivered to him, and the mandate here is that there has to be 13 holes in the mask. So the mask here, where I think a lot of people have most of their issues, like, again, going back to this, like, neck down, this is great. And I will say right now, the jacket totally never hike alone. It looks like the same thing. It looks like an M65 jacket. They didn't hybrid it like the 2009 jacket. It's not a trench coat. The coat doesn't come, below his thighs. It's not hanging down there. It's at his waist. It's like the Sears work shirt. Underneath, I would say this t-shirt, unlike the Henley we use for Never Hike Alone, this is a little bit more remake design. The pants, sort of similar, remake-ish and Never Hike Alone-ish, but what he doesn't have, you notice, is a giant utility belt. He doesn't have gloves. And the boots, I would prefer black, but you know what? Brown, black boots, that's not a hill to die on. The boots look good. They don't look overly, they're not distracting. You know what I mean? They blend right in. What I like about this look, this is earthy. This brings you back to Friday the 13th, part 3, 4, 5, 6, when Jason was really in those earth tones. He had the green shirt, the tan, brown, grayish pants, but the Never Hike Alone aesthetic was we wanted him to be a creature of the forest. And I believe that from the neck down, Greg Nicotero has accomplished that. I love the weathering. I love the look of the hands. Some people said the hands are too small. Again, one thing, let me pop back up so I can actually make a point here. One thing I want to say about this design, about what we're looking at here as a collective unit, and why this is so confusing of what the Jason universe did, is this is a concept painting. You know what I mean? This is like an amalgamation of different pieces that have been pulled together and painted upon and blended. This is just meant to show you the pieces that would go into the costume. This is not an actor in the costume posing and showing us what it is. This isn't even a sculpted and modeled mask that's on something that's 3D that we see. This is just a painting, because what's going to happen is there are going to be more steps. They're going to take this into sculpting. They're going to take this into having to put it on a live person. They're going to have to take this when they put them in games, and they're going to have to 3D mold them. We're going to have to see them from multiple angles. That's when we can really start getting nitpicky. But I do believe that us as fans are right when we say that where we're at with the mask right now is the main issue. And it's really, it really feels like Ghost Jason with a hockey mask on top that looks like the ones that we would pull from the dollar store. And we all recognize those masks. The ones that we see on the shelves, the ones that we got as kids as Halloween, they only have 6 holes in the bottom and they don't really kind of, do the thing. I would say the issues with this really don't, it's not just that the mask is different, it's that this doesn't even feel like Jason Voorhees. This feels like, Bloody Massacre. This feels like this could be an offshoot, off-brand Jason for something else. This feels like the type of move a fan film would have to do to avoid being sued, which is the thing that I don't get, because it's Horror Inc., which owns Friday the 13th 2 through 8, and I think 9, and maybe Jason Goes to Hell. I don't know what's owned by New Line and Paramount and Warner Brothers, and maybe those are the rights holders that they're worried about for look. And then you have Friday the 13th LLC, which owns Young Jason and Pamela and everything. So under the Jason universe is the entire umbrella of Friday the 13th. So what are they running from? Because they own the licenses to the best looking Jason, the part 3, 4, and 6 Jason. I mean, part 5 too, Dream Sequence Jason. Like I don't understand what they're running from. Off the bat, the eyes. I'm telling you, the oval eyes, no matter what you do, no matter how hard you try, the oval eyes and these sort of sunglasses, I've seen them described as these, they kind of have they have like the Cooper style eyes right here. And the Cooper mask, if you guys think about it, it's like the part 5 retro mask that somehow made it onto the cover of New Beginning, that had that other, like the square, it had the square holes. Those are the eyes from the mask with square holes. That's why the eyes are more square and all that stuff. And that's why it doesn't match with the circles, the other vent holes. Now they're also limited to, or they're limiting themselves. Let's save that for last. Let's talk about the chevrons. The chevrons are way too big. And not a huge fan of the unibrow chevron, not a huge fan of big chevrons in general. I liked it when it was literally just the forehead chevron. When it gets whittled down to part 6, the chevrons usually wear off anyway. And our whole thing with the Ghost Hawk was we took them away entirely because chevrons eventually wear off, and the older and dirtier something is, the less it's going to maintain that shape. So that's why we took them off. So there's just a lot going on here. I mean, the overall shape of the mask, and then the vent holes, they just sort of, and this is where it really hurts. The vent holes in this design, I think, are hurting it the most because it's sort of like you can see where they're trying to go the old way, but the two holes at the top don't really hold ground up there, and the way they have just the two side vent holes don't really create anything that is really menacing to me. This is just not great. So if anyone was following me on Twitter today, I kind of did some draw overs that I think kind of helped with the design. And the first thing I did was I rounded up the mask, and I worked on the eyes, and I worked on the whole pattern. And right away, as soon as I did this, I mean, I'm talking about, I did this for maybe 15 minutes in Photoshop, a little push, a little pull, a little, nudge here or there. And all of a sudden, is the little bit more rounder of a shape, and Jason fell into place. You move the holes up onto the top from the bottom, creating 7 holes on the bottom, 6 holes on the top, and the nose is sort of the odd man out. So you work from the nose out, and then you figure out what's there. But this is a more balanced mask. There's 7 on the bottom, 6 on the top. There's, and it feels like it's weighted right. There's not, doing quick math, there's not 9 holes on the bottom and 4 holes on the top, which feels a little, the weight didn't feel right. We took down the chevrons. The chevrons are not taking up as much of the mask anymore. And I apologized because I noticed that the left chevron's a little off here, and there's some other things I didn't do with the right chevron yet. You'll see in the next one that I kind of fixed. But the biggest difference here, obviously, guys, is the eyes. The eyes not being rectangular, blacking out the eyes a little bit, not putting screens on them, but just dirtying up this area so you don't really see what's under the mask. It's the empty black eyes that sell Jason. And that's how you sell the fear with this guy. And I mean, I posted this online, and it immediately took off because I think, and a lot of Friday the 13th fans, the first thing they said was, thank you. You know why? Because when you look at something that just feels off and then it goes into place, it feels like something got put back. It feels like there's a row of blue books and there's only one yellow one on there, and you take that yellow one out and you replace it with a blue, and bam, the whole thing matches and it feels right. Or it sort of all comes together. And the more I played with it, I came up with another variation. Boom. Right here. This is, actually, that's too far. But if we go here, still the small mask, but now we got straight down, straight up. Now this is a really nice balance. Leave everything from the cheek out is all gone. Like basically you can wipe the mask here and you can wipe the mask here, but down the center, that feels reminiscent. It feels sort of something that feels familiar, but a little bit different. This feels like it's got a Ghost Hawk vibe where it's different enough, but still enough of the same, right? We feel like we're in the same universe. It feels like the same character. And when this character shows up on screen, even though it's got new aesthetic and it's got a new design, that it still feels like the same character. This guy doesn't feel like the same guy. This guy feels like hitchhiking, like weirdo who, like, it's less like, I don't see the Jason backstory for him, but this feels like the Jason I know. Someone else threw out as I was doing this, oh, we wish the mask was bigger and covered more of his face. So I did a version that did that, and I wanted to look like what it would look like with 5 straps. We've never seen 5 straps before. And I feel like that could be a difference in this mask from previous masks that I think would, one, make sense because it will actually make a cool shape on the back of the head, and I'll get to that in a little bit. It's something we haven't seen before, and it doesn't hurt the design. And the clips have always been there, but the straps have never been there. So I don't I think that would kind of work. I think the larger mask is okay. I think looking at it, I prefer that. That's maybe a little too big. I don't like when this is sort of remake where the mask sort of overtook the entire head. This just sits kind of nice. And then the only other adjustment that I would make to all of this is maybe just to do this. I mean, at the end of the day, let's go through the progression. This guy, this guy, this guy, this guy, and then boom. And then there it is, live action with a little bit of pizzazz to it. I'm obviously tooting my own horn here. And I get that. And I'm sure that rubs some people the wrong way. But overall, this is just how I feel about it. I mean, when you look at them all lined up like this is sort of where we're at. I mean, this is where we're at now. This is the Jason we might get. But all of these little iterations right here, I'm not adding or subtracting anything that's not already on the mask. All of these, like I trimmed this down from the original chevrons. All these holes are copies of the holes that were there. I just blanked out the entire mask and worked with a different palette. I'm working with the same constraints that anybody would if they were given this task. And I'm trying to relay for the sake of let me find a good thing here. Bing, 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 boom. There we go. And, I'm just sort of, for the sake of being a fan, that there is so much better that we can get out of this. And I'm not saying this to be a dick. I'm saying this in the sense of if Sonic the Hedgehog fans can bully Sony into changing a CG element, something that was actually tangible, it was in the movies, like they were delivering shots. They delivered a trailer and they changed the entire Sonic the Hedgehog. The directors reached out to the fans and said, we hear you. We looked at it. We went, we made a decision. We all held hands. We brought it all the way this far. We released a trailer and the fans went, what is this thing? And they listened and they said, okay, we're going to change it. It took a little bit longer. They changed those things. And what happened? Sonic is in its third movie. It's wildly successful. The redesign made everybody happy. Literal effects artists were redesigning it the day after just as easily as I did this. And they did a lot better work and more detailed work because Sonic's a lot harder to design. And that worked out really, really well for them. I think if the Jason universe can take this criticism, and I'm going to jump back into the comments in a little bit, and we start talking about you guys stuff in a little bit. I'm 109 comments behind. You guys are killing it tonight with the things. But if the Jason universe can just listen, and that's all it is. In fact, you know what? Let's bring up. We're going to share a little screen. We're going to get in here. We're going to get into the ad because I want to get into some things. Right here, we strive to maintain Jason's original essence while continuing to move forward with the future to define a look and feel that takes Jason into the next chapter, confirms Robert Barsimian, president of Horror Inc. We're also working with both familiar and fresh franchise voices that strike balance. Okay. One of those voices is effects legend Greg Nicotero, where he says, we gave Greg our 13-hole mask and worked together with his full body that embodies a classic Jason. Looks just like Never Hike Alone. He's strong and towering and terrifying slasher with a machete as a weapon of his choice. Here's the thing that really kind of hears. We're listening to fans and actively developing a slate under the Jason Universe banner that spans new movies, gaming, immersive experiences, collectibles, and more, Khan says. Our film franchise is one of the most enduring horror properties in cinematic history, and we're actively reimagining what the next chapter and the slasher genre overall can become. So, with that in mind, I got to get back to the studio. Boom. So, with that said, if you don't mind, not that one. Wait, where is it? Oh, I put the wrong thing in here. There it is. Boom. Jason Universe. I'm here humbly suggesting that today, I've been on Twitter for the last 2 days. I've been doing this Friday the 13th thing, the Never Hike Alone stuff since 2015, 2016. But I've been doing stuff like this, like these little like drawovers and I've been doing this in chat form since I was in my early 20s, since the invention of the chat forum where Friday the 13th nerds got together and talked about this stuff. I've been doing this for years. This is the one job I have wanted since I was a little kid. And as the franchise went through turmoil, I created this little oasis where I've been able to play in the Friday the 13th world with your sort of consent, not coming after me, which I really appreciate. But if I can sit here and I can draw these fans here and we can have these discussions, why not bring fans in to have this discussion? Why not bring Womp Stomp Films in to look at what the slate is, to give you a reaction? Because I could have told you that if you walked in and brought me in a room and said, Vin, what are the fans' reaction going to be to this? I'm going to tell you, they're going to tear you apart. They're going to rapidly tear this apart. There are going to be some people that just, fair weather say, well, it's Jason. He's got a hockey mask and it's got the chevrons, it's got all the look. But for people that this is, Friday the 13th hasn't been in the conversation for a long time. For a lot of people in the space right now making content on YouTube and all these different social media platforms, Friday the 13th is a distant memory. A lot of them were very young when 2009 came out. Never mind the 1980s films. Never mind Jason Goes to Hell and Jason X and Freddy versus Jason. I'm talking like their first ever experience might have been 2009. And a lot of these kids, their first experience was Never Hike Alone because they found it on YouTube and they found something that was Friday the 13th. A lot of them, Friday the 13th, the game, rest in peace, was their first experience for Jason. I remember playing with kids who had no clue what Jason was. They just liked playing the game. And then, or they find Never Hike Alone and it brought them back into the franchise. You have two distinct pieces of your fan base here. This fan base that's been connected to it since the 80s, the old heads who will tell you that everything after part 4 is bullshit and, not the real franchise. There's people like me who grew up in the 80s, 90s, and early 2000s, and it was in my prime, and I grew up with these movies. I evolved as the movies evolved and things changed. And then you have people that came during the lull times when everything was getting canceled and pushed over and lawsuits. And I don't even think people really remember what Friday the 13th actually really is anymore, because a lot of the conversations I see and a lot of the comments that I see are very sort of blasé about, oh, well, it looks like Jason. And, maybe it looks like H2O Delirious. Maybe it looks like a GTA Jason, but it doesn't look like the Jason we know and love. The ones that were in Friday the 13th, the game, the ones that we know, Horror Inc., you own because you licensed those Jasons to the game. So we're asking as fans, please take this back to the drawing board. I swear, if by Friday the 13th on Jason's birthday, you either release a press release or you show us a new mask that somebody could whip together as fast as I did and say, we hear you fans, we're working on it. We're going to work together. And I swear, if you work with the fans, you will get nothing but success. I owe a ton of the success for Never Hike Alone because I opened my doors to fans to drop into my DMs and give me suggestions. I can't tell you how many fans I pitched ideas to before I put them in the script to get their feedback, to see how they reacted. And when I saw how they reacted, I made better decisions about the things I was going to put into the film. I read comments underneath the videos of Never Hike Alone saying, what happened here? Or I don't get this, or I don't get that. And I went, that's a good thing to cover in an episode, or that's a good thing to kind of put into this scene or that scene. That's a fair question. And that's a fair, that's a fair criticism. And I think and I'm proud of Friday the 13th fans. I've seen some people really dogging on it, but I got to say, for all the discourse that I've seen for Halloween, for Scream, for all like the death threats and all this stuff, I got to say, Friday the 13th fans, I'm proud. It's pretty civil out there. I mean, we're all having fun. We were talking trash, all that stuff, but nobody was hitting below the belt and nobody took it personal. I think everybody was being very passionately, forward about how they feel about this because we're excited about Jason coming back. And I would say that is the best part about all of this. Like whether you love that mask, whether you hate the design or you're lukewarm about it, or you're just happy, this is so nice, isn't it? Isn't it so nice that we can talk about Friday the 13th and there's something new going on? There's actually something tangible to discuss. So as much as we all hate that design, Jason Universe, thank you. Thank you for starting to pump out some stuff for us to discuss and talk about it. Because if you want this mutual relationship with your fans, you're going to have to start showing us some stuff. And not just show us stuff and expect us to just gobble it up like a bunch of just good followers, but to actually look at our reactions to things and say, okay, let's give them what they want. Because if you give the fans what they want, they're not only going to show up and buy it, they're going to tell other people about it. And this is the way you're going to get more stuff on the shelf. I really wish that we could have a conversation. I wish that I wouldn't have to turn to fans and do stuff like this, like the We Want Womp Stomp thing. Like this is going to be fun. I really hope fans can get behind this. I hope you guys really do support Womp Stomp Films being a part of the official universe. I've been hearing fans tell me this since, since the release of the first film. And I can't tell you what an amazing story that would be for this whole journey to end with you guys opening up the doors and letting one of us in so we can help you craft this franchise for a future generation. And there are other people out there. I wouldn't just come in and be a gatekeeper and do that stuff. Like, there's so many people in the community that have influenced me, like Brian Collins and Brian Turk and all these people that you would reach out to, and other fans around the world. And, mask makers like, Jeremy Howard and Brandon Scott Murphy, and previous directors, Tom McLaughlin, Adam Marcus, Joe Zito, all these people that are out there that we could get access to and talk to, alumni. They're all out there. They're all doing the thing. And I've been spending a lot of time with them for the last, 8 years. And it's been a blessing of my life. This is what I've always wanted to do. And so, I really want to rally fans to keep doing what they're doing, to keep pushing on Jason Universe, that they should reach out and talk to us, because I guarantee you that if we're behind the scenes of this thing, not to say that they're going to allow me to walk in and do all this stuff, but I'm just a good measuring stick. And there are other people out there that are good measuring sticks. And if this is, this is a big punch for them to take, to come out and show, this design to people, they're putting it all on the table. And so if they're putting it all on the table, I think now's the time to take this feedback and do something with it. Show the fans that you are listening. And I don't mean that in a dickish way. I mean it in a way that, like, put your money where your mouth is, because we want to help. I mean, they're out there. I mean, I want to give a shout out to Crash Cunningham, amazing Friday the 13th artist. I think that if Crash had come along 10 years later during my time, he would have made the Never Hike Alone that everybody wanted to see. I just feel like he got on the scene almost too early before he could blow up really on the internet to do some really huge things, because he designed a version of Jason that he posted the other day that I've never seen before. And I've seen almost everything that he's done. Tommy's Nightmare is my favorite piece of artwork ever for Friday the 13th. He showed a Jason that looked just like Ghost Jason. Like, for people who are dogging on the design in general, I mean, this this is it. I mean, this is good. I mean, even if you button that shirt, you know what I mean? Like, you can get a lot of just trying to button it, costume test, all of those different things. But man, I really just, I'm really just pumped up about this, as you guys can tell. So I want to, I've obviously ranted about this long enough. It's time to hear from you. I want to hear from everybody in the chat. So we're going to jump into that. Let's see. Right? Yeah. So James is right on top of it. He loves Crash Cunningham. Definitely awesome. I'm acting like people don't know who he is. Thank you. Yeah. No, I think that, like, the redesign is a start. Like, literally, like, I didn't spend too much time on it. I just did it to mess around with it. And I wanted to get in there. Look at Bruce Johnson with the $50 super chat. I want to thank you again for your excellent work that you do and your team have done to bring an authentic Jason to your series of films. As a horror fan for over 40 plus years, this is why I've been a long-term supporter of yours. As to this new Jason, just no. So again, Bruce isn't being mean here, Jason Universe. He's just saying, no, like, we can do better. And we've been saying that for a year. This isn't a surprise. I mean, every time the Jason Universe logo has come up, it has been a thing. I agree. Brock, Bruce rocks. Let's see. This is a pretty good one. Personally, I think it feels lazy and a little too similar to Ghost Jason. I wish they just would have done their own thing. Okay, that's a good comment. Let's talk about this, Anthony. That's a great comment. Here's the thing. Take it all. I don't feel like I'm being ripped off. That's another thing I want to say. They're not ripping me off. Again, I have been allowed a lot of leniency to go and make these films. And I am tremendously happy about that. Like, I can't believe how thankful I am. When I've thanked Sean, I've thanked Victor, and anyone I've ever met from the Friday the 13th franchise has ever granted me the allowance to do this. I have borrowed from the franchise for the last 8 years, and that is not lost on me. So to say they stole Ghost Jason for me is ironic, because I've been borrowing from them for years. I borrowed an entire franchise, character, setting, the whole thing. Like, think about all the things they lent me. If they want to borrow my design, or if they want to take inspiration from my design, or if our minds align on the same design, good. because you know what? It means they are listening. It means they did see something from the fans that looked good and they took it and they implemented it. So let's just keep doing that. Let's just keep that progress forward. And it's not to say that the fans are the only place where this is going to be good. I know that there are a lot of fans out there in the world, and I know probably who helped with that design, who would probably say the same thing, probably tell them the same thing. But I'm sure there's somebody in the room like, well, we paid for this design and we did all this stuff and, it's been out there for years. Yeah, so did Sonic. Look at the upside. Look at the upside and think about how that will fuse you with the fans when they see you react, or when we see you react. Like we're going to cheer. We're going to cheer you on. We're going to know you're listening and we're going to feel safe. If this goes forward and nothing is done about it, the message that sends to fans is, we say we're listening, but that's just for the press release. I mean, at the end of the day, we just turn off the internet. We do whatever we want because we own this franchise and you can't do anything about it. So as long as it makes us money, we don't care. And that's just not the message that people want from the franchise, rights holders or the people that are holding on to their, some of their favorite characters. Let's get into some more stuff. But getting into that, I love that they have the Ghost Jason look. I hope they keep it. It would mean, like, honestly, I don't know. Again, like, I was not being negative at all. I think it's so cool. Like, that was the coolest thing I've ever seen. I mean, people are like, I can't believe they did this. This is so lazy. It's like, no, it's not lazy. They didn't try to reinvent the wheel. They took something that works and they implemented it. So good for them. The square eyes are the worst mistake. I agree. I do believe that the square eyes are the thing that's really kind of doing that. Allie jumping in, just give you a job while they're at it. I really would love a job. I could use a full-time thing that, I mean, honestly, like, this is the job I want. Like, if somebody sat down and said, Vinny, what is the job you want? It's like, I don't want to just direct a Friday the 13th movie one day. I want to work for the franchise. I want to be in the room when they're talking about what Blu-ray content are we putting on the new 40th, 5th anniversary release of Friday the 13th? What should the cover artwork be like? How should we market this new NECA toy? Is there anything else we can get to NECA? Is there anything else we can get to McFarlane Toys? Is there anything that we can do to get stuff to the fans? What else can we design? What artists can we employ to create a new t-shirt, a new poster, a new brand new Jason? Let's come up with, like, why are we limiting ourselves to Crystal Lake, the TV series, and all these different things? Obviously, these are all conversations there, but whatever's going on behind the scenes, I would love to be a part of it. As I said on X, what if the redesign is someone's way of giving Womp Stomp their due, but they can't be vocal about it because of Hollywood politics? And again, when I get into this, like I said, Kurt Root knows Greg Rigatero. Kurt Root has the Ghost Hawk, and talks to Greg Nicotero all the time. And Greg Nicotero knows what Never High Cologne is. And people in that building have watched Never High Cologne because I've talked to them and talked to Jason about it. So there's no way. I mean, hold on a second, guys. Talk about, I mean, like I said, I got show and tell tonight. Look, this is the jacket. Look at this. This is, like, look. Like, the fabric and everything. Like, even down to the weathering on the seams. Look at that. Like, on, we're gonna pull me over here. We're gonna look at him. That's the exact jacket. I mean, they took a picture of this. I know I sent them a picture of this jacket. That is the exact. It's the Old Navy jackets. I gotta kind of back up, but you can kind of see. You know what I mean? Like, it's all here. The other thing I want to talk about is some people. So there's that. But yeah, I do think that maybe quietly that was a way for them to do it. And thank you. Like, thank you. That's cool. And if not, like, cool, we have the same idea. But I was literally pitching this to people 10, 15 years ago, and they were making fun of me. And now Greg Nicotero comes out and draws this. And I'm like, see? I'm like, so it's validating me from like 14 years ago when I was a super nerd about this. I wish we could go back to the Dickies button up and bloody vest, bloody up mask to make it more round like you designed it. Yeah, I said this shirt right here, that can be buttoned. Button it. You know, I mean, when they do a costume test, shoot it like that. Now button it. What does that look like? I mean, it's going to come down to who is the actor in the suit. How are they building out the design? That all is going to go into play. But I do agree. As someone who did this jacket thing and experimented with the jacket, I would say it's worth it. It's time to close the jacket. I think Never Hike Alone was the last true crack at it. And I won a lot of people over with it. And it is the best like I've been told, it is the best version of a jacket you will ever see on Jason. And and the people say it looks like Freddy versus Jason or MKX. Close, but not quite. The that I think it's time to close it. I think we close it. It again, it just opens. It's like doing the mask thing. It's like you make that little change, and all of a sudden you got many more Friday the 13th fans who are coming to the table who aren't upset about something. You don't have to get over something. And the more of those, we want them because we need them in the theater. I just hope this mask will not show up in the A24 Crystal Leak series. I don't know how that would be related. Good question. At this point, it seems stubborn of them not to bring you in. Admittedly, I am abrasive. I have come online. I have talked trash. I have been involved with so many different things that have happened and behind the scenes and stuff like that. Not to say that like I'm a pariah or something like that, but like over the years, stuff happens. And there's been a lot of stuff that goes on behind the scenes of Friday the 13th. I'm sure that they've heard things, seen things, and all that stuff. But really, like, I think a persona of what people think somebody is based on a couple of, reactions of people online or interactions with people online or like a negative interaction. Like for all the positive interactions that I've ever had, nobody's ever like gone and posted a YouTube video about the 10 times more positive reactions that I've had with the handful of people that I have negative reactions to who have gone online every now and then, or maybe they have seen me talking about something, not talking about it in the most positive light. Like it's not coming from a place of hate. It's coming from a place of love and just saying that like, it's like rooting for my favorite sports team. Like I want them to sign the best players to win the game. I want them to win the Super Bowl. I'm not rooting for their demise. And if they make a decision that I don't like, but it turns out that they end up winning in the end, I will be there to support it. Well, I want to find a way to sort of combine those forces, but I know that right now that, they're not doing too well. They're lucky after all the legal BS and garbage sequels that we still care. So let us use our voices, please. Yes. That's another great point, Nick. Nick, that you get star of the night for Nick. That's another thing too. For everything that we've had to deal with, do you know what it would mean to fans to all of a sudden pick up a news article and read from, what is it? Adweek. Jason Universe adds Womp Stomp Films director Vincent DiSanti to team to help unite communication with fans. Do you know what that would do to thousands of people around this country? Hopefully hundreds of thousands at some point. You would do one of two things. One, a lot of people will go, wait, what is Never Hike Alone? Should I watch that now? And that'd be nice for us. But I think the people who really care, the people who've been following this the most, who do know who we are, I think they would feel like fans won. Like this feels like, again, like not to sound entitled about it. A lot of people have come up to me and said, this is long overdue. And I've had my pitches before with different people and I've done different things, but I don't think it would hurt. I don't think a conversation would hurt. I think you bring me in, you get to know the real me, even this, me jumping and doing my tap dance here on YouTube, I'm excited. I'm talking to the thing. I'm talking about something I'm passionate about, to sit in a room and talk about this stuff with us behind closed doors and just get to know what the direction is for this thing. Like I'm telling you, like, I'm not the only person. And if I hear other people get hired and all that stuff, like I'm happy for them too. I'm just pitching my own thing. You know what I mean? I can only toot my own horn for so long. Bottom line, they'll sell more merchandise with a better mask, right? Yes. Make a better mask and you'll sell more stuff. Ben Brown. All the remaining movies that have been done by NECA, please. Yes, we want that. That's an obvious. I mean, I don't know why there aren't more NECA figures. You deserve that Friday the 13th franchise more than anyone. I don't want, and that's sort of the thing. Like, I think a lot of people feel like when I post about this stuff, that's how I feel like I deserve it. Like, I feel like I've worked hard. I feel like I've earned the right to be vocal about it because I've dedicated so many years and hours. Like when you guys are going out and having weekends and going on trips with your families, I'm in front of this computer shipping Blu-rays. I'm in front of this computer writing Never Hike Alone scripts. I'm in front of this computer editing Photoshop files and behind the scenes and cutting new versions of the movie. And it's what I do. I mean, when I turn off this computer, nothing changes for me. I go right back into Never Hike Alone world and I live there. I love it there. I live in Womp Stomp world where we're making all these other different things and all these wonderful collaborations. And I've had so many different James Sweet is in this thing. He will tell you firsthand about what it's like collaborating with me, the highs and the lows. I'm sure Cecil Laird will show up at some point and other people that have been out there who we've collaborated with, like, the people I've worked for in the past. Like, I just want to bring this passion and I just want to bring this passion to the actual franchise. I just want to make it official. Can you imagine what would happen if they actually took this box set and made it an official Friday the 13th release? Make so much money on it. I'll be at my own table with my coffee in my hand. Oh, I'm gonna have to be going in 7 minutes. The outfit looks all right in the design. I think they should give him a little shoulder holster like a bow and arrow. The utility part, belt 6 sheath, in my opinion. You know, hang on a second, guys, because I was just literally looking at a piece of artwork. What did I do with it? Give me one moment. I'm gonna pull something up because you just reminded me of something that I have. Let's go look at him. I'm going to tell you what I think is the best Jason design that I've ever seen. And it's also, and Ghost Jason also influenced it. Let me see. I'm going to stop sharing screen for that. I'm going to present, share screen, window. There he is. Boom. You guys want to talk about the greatest design maybe of all time is this. Look at this. I can't remember the name of the artist off the top. Oh yeah. Anastasios Jonas right here. Look, I always remember to but look at this. That's what you're talking about right there, right? Jason Voorhees. This is the perfect, like, honestly, when it comes down to it, like, you guys can do the human Jason all you want. This is what I want. At the end of the day, I can't wait for Jason to get back to this thing, because this thing is a Terminator and this thing makes fun movies because you can shoot this thing with a cannon and it's going to get back up and keep killing you. Human Jason has limitations, and he gets written into a box at some point. And at some point, he's going to rise from the grave. And when he does, look at this. I mean, the arrows coming out of the back. You know, I don't mind a little utility belt here. Look, it's working to design, but again, green, black, brown, black. The color scheme. They have this color, like, this is what Jason could look like if that shirt's closed. That other Jason, right? If I remove, look, boom. I'm going to take myself to here. Look, boom, 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 boom. There it is. It's going to be that simple. And it's all out there for us. I mean, fans have been doing this for years. Fans have been making the best content for the last decade because we're the only ones who've been allowed to touch it. That's how things like this pop up. You know what I mean? Like, that's ultimately what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to shine the light on all these other things that have already been created that we don't need to go back to the wheel. Look at that mask. That mask looks beautiful. That's coming from somebody who's just going from a standpoint of, I'm going to make something. I mean, literally made this to show other people, to be impressed by his work as Jason. And look at the mask, the way it looks. That, I mean, it just speaks for itself. All right, let me pull this away. I only got a few minutes. Halloween special, Jason Momenta. Let me see. Vindicated. Personally, I would like to see a nod to part 2 of the unbuttoned shirt to be an old weathered flannel. Honestly, I think that's all stuff to be explored. I think there should be, I think that as they're building this new thing, they should use those little, like, okay, at one point we want to see him in overalls, and then we want to see him in the traditional shirt, and then we want to see this and all that stuff. I think that all can happen. I just think it just needs to be woven into the story. Long arms. Yeah, he does have long ass arms, but I love that. Love it. Cool. You guys love Anastasia stuff. I know Derek Smith, Cali number Super 1 heavyweight arm wrestler, 6'8", 340 pounds, can make an awesome Terminator Jason. Guys, I don't believe that Jason is 6'8", 340. I think Jason is 6'3", 220. Honestly, Richard Brooker was 6'3", 215. Ted White was 6'5", 240. Ted Morga is like another 6'5", 190. He's like a beanstalk. Like, this Jason is Tom Morga right here, skinny, like deteriorated, like gangly, like a creature of the forest. I think that yoked out sort of like bodybuilder Jason doesn't make a lot of sense. That feels like Leatherface, you know, porky, thick armed, thick boy. Like, thick boy is Leatherface. Jason is gangly stick dude. He's got some bulk, he's got some height, he's got some towering thing, but, you know, and I think, you know, Brooker had some traps. Ted White was just a large individual. He was a cowboy. He was big. You know what I mean? He was lumbering. But if you go back and watch him, he's not like ripped. He doesn't have a six pack. His is a barrel body and kind of skinny-ish arms. And Tom Morger, like I said, is like a beanstalk. So there's all that. Just be creative and do what Jason does best and scare the shit out of you and have creative kills. And please listen to the fans. Yeah, that's obviously going to be the thing. Cass Vinny, the 6-7 mask is pretty much up there for me. We need either you or Mears again. I mean, there's lots of people. I mean, Doug Tate would be good. Bringing back Mears would be good. I would love to do it. I love Derek Mears. Look is my favorite. Slender Jason. Yeah, I mean, it is a little bit of a slender Jason. I absolutely love it. They put in the details from the damage from previous films, like Part 7. Oh, let's see. I didn't know that was a thing, but yeah, that's actually really good. Sometimes that scene's unstoppable no matter what you do to him. Let me see. So we're coming up on our hour. I have to run over to Jason Nike's podcast. Let me remember exactly. Backtrack Cinema. So if you haven't already, guys, you guys can join me over at Backtrack Cinema in about 10 minutes. I'm going to wrap up here and we're going to do all that stuff. What does Thickless say? Haha, funny you mentioned Agonist. We used to use his Freddy versus Jason reboot model and Freddy versus Freddy F13 Resurrected. Funny enough, I was the individual who spoke to on Twitter. Oh, Thickless. Yeah. Okay, guys. That was awesome. I was really a fan of what you guys were doing. Adam Michaels here, by the way. Look at Adam. Adam's in the chat. Congratulations on Adam, who played Gino, who's named after my brother in Never Hike Alone, and Callie, his beautiful wife. They are expecting. So our couple from the tent scene did survive, and they are bringing another little Michaels into the world. So congratulations to them. I haven't seen them in a while, but would like to see them soon. And congratulations to Adam and Tony on Better Luck Chuck. If you guys don't know about this, there's a film called because I'm trying to think of it on the moment. I'm forgetting it. But there was a film that Tony and Adam did a long time ago where they established this, and I'm sorry that I'm forgetting about it, but now they have something called Better Luck Chuck. It's a game show for horror fans. You can look it up. Bloody Disgusting has been promoting it. They're doing a tour. Skeletons in the Closet, I remembered. So a film called Skeletons in the Closet. It's sort of based on that. Better Luck Chuck, check it out. Adam Michaels, he's the guy who designed the artwork for the special edition Never Hike Alone poster and the vinyl. So that's who Adam is as well. Why the mask so weird? Because it is weird. So there we go. There it is. Skeletons in the Closet. He got me. Better Luck Than Chuck. That's right. Better Luck Than Chuck. And there's look at this guy. Sculptor Die in the thing. Brandon Scott Murphy in the chat, which Brandon and I believe, are in the Jason Goes to Hell documentary, which is premiering at Texas Frightmare this weekend or next weekend. But I'm very excited about that. I start my shift and was good stream. Listen, discuss about keep up the hard work. I hope to see you on a future stream, Voorhees. We do this every week. We're gonna have a lot of fun. Next week, I'm gonna have Juan Rivera back with our Ruby Armas. We're gonna take a 3D tour through Camp Crystal Lake in the animated world. Are you guys ready for that? Or at least we're going to try to do it. I may have just thrown them on the spot, but we did talk about it. So next week on the Ghost Files, we're going to look back into Ghost in the Fog. Or remember, once again, let's get that up. Ghost in the Fog is on Indiegogo right now. Please go and support it if you haven't already. Again, email me at wompstompllc@gmail.com. If you've backed Friday the 13th, if you've backed Never Hike Alone before, I got some discount codes for you. I got some secret perks for you. I will send you the email. You just hit me up and you're ready to go. You're obviously the first to hear about it. We were at 9:02. I'm going to have to jump out. Oh, of course, ma'am. There's Moy from Mako Animation showing up a little late because we're just about to end the stream, buddy. But thank you, everybody, for coming out. Tonight was a great stream. It's good to see all these people in here. I hope to welcome you back next week. Like I said, next week, 3D tour through Camp Crystal Lake. You're going to get to see some of the buildings and stuff that we've built and get an idea for what we're up to. You guys can talk to Juan and Ruby and learn more about Mako Animation and what they're doing. Maybe in a couple weeks, I can bring Zoran and Chelsea on. Maybe James will join me. We're going to have lots of fun. But thank you, everybody, real quick. Actually, you know what? There's one other thing I got to do before I go. So I did bring Ghost Jason with me for you guys wanted to see the hockey mask. So about like the eyes, you know what I'm talking about? Like for eyes here, but I did want to just show this one more time. So again, I think this is more like the mask that they're kind of designing, and it's a little eggy, but here's the 5-strap look for those who want to check that out. Which could be something. And this was supposed to be sort of what Never Hike Alone was supposed to be original. So you can kind of see the two side by side, whoop, like this. So, but you see what I'm saying? Like, I love this mask, but these eyes, the ovals, they just don't do it. The olive, like the little, like, I can't get it to look good. No matter what you do, it just doesn't look great. But I forgot to show that to you guys before, so I want to show it there. So jumping over to Backtrack Cinema, join me and James Sweet and Jason Nike. We're going to be hanging out for the next hour. I will post some stuff on social media so you can find it, but Backtrack Cinema on YouTube, if you look for it, you'll see the icon with James and I on there and Predator Badlands. So it was good seeing everybody this week. Thank you for supporting the stream. Thank you, Dr. Bruce, once again for supporting with a huge super chat tonight. Love that. You guys have a safe and wonderful weekend. Remember, we want Womp Stomp. Hashtag we want Womp Stomp. Keep the wave going. Keep the Jason universe aware that we're out here and we're willing to help and that fans want to participate and then it's time to open the doors. Let us in to the chocolate factory. We won't get sucked up into any of the tubes. I swear I won't eat any of the floating candy. I just want to help you make a better Friday the 13th. So with that, have a great weekend. And until next time, I will see you all on